Hi, I'm Neve Jones. Myself and my husband Neil Jones run Kitchen Garden Plant Centre. We were due to be with you at Tatton Park today at the Plant Village. We were there last year at the Dig-In Theatre. We were due to be showing you a display of herbs and edibles that are good for this time of year. Instead, here today we've got a selection of herbs to show you. So we do potted herbs. The herbs look fantastic in these terracotta pots. We also do planted borders within our displays. Today we've got a few different herbs to show you, some of which are my favourites as well. I take, for example, this lemon verbena, Aloysia citrodora. It reminds me of going on down to see my grandparents with our quarter of lemon sherbet. Literally, if you take a leaf off the lemon verbena, it honestly tastes like lemon sherbet. It's great in cakes. It's also great with fish. It's got this lovely lemon aroma as you brush by, so it's fantastic for just outside your kitchen door. It can go quite woody at the very base. What you can do is cut that right back and you get this nice new bushy growth. It grows about a metre. It likes free draining soil and just a beautiful herb for the garden. So Helichrysum italicum microphyllum is this one here. It's a curry plant. So again, it's a lovely one that you can brush by. It's a nice dwarf variety. There are the Helichrysum italicum, a more typical curry plant, has got a broader leaf than this. This one's got a much smaller, slimmer leaf. It has these beautiful sprays of flowers that are with us throughout much of the growing season. This one here, when I work with it, it makes my hands feel fantastic. It's like natural moisturizer. It's brilliant. Over here we've got Levisticum officinale. It's Lovage. Absolutely fantastic as a stock base for soups and stews. Used a lot in Eastern Europe, and it originated in Italy, I believe. It's got a celery-like, orange-like flavour, typical stock flavour for soups and stews. It grows about 2 metres. It grows quite bulky and big. You can cut it right down to the base, which is fantastic for me because then you can keep good control of it. So if you find it's getting too big, just chop it right back to the base. So back here I've got Vietnamese coriander. It is Persicaria odorata. It is a great one for Thai cooking. It's got a coriander citrus-like flavour but with a bit of a kick. It's often paired with lemongrass and it's always thrown in at the very end of the dish. Otherwise you lose its flavour. It's got a nice, strong, sharp taste. It's very easy to grow. You can be quite hard with it again. So I love herbs like that where you can just cut them right back and it will regrow. It's also very easy to root. It likes nice, damp but rich compost. You can root it in water as well. Over here we've got a grouping of tarragons. Now this one here isn't quite a true tarragon, but I love it. It's actually marigold family. It's Tagetes lucida. It has marigold-like flowers. The leaves are a lot stronger tasting than French tarragon, so I would use it sparingly to begin with until you get used to how it flavours your dish. Again, it's better if it's thrown in towards the end of cooking so you're not overcooking it, but it's a beautiful herb to have in your garden. It is a bit tender, so you do need to give it some frost protection as well. Here is your very typical French tarragon, Artemisia dracunculus. It is the one that's used in French cooking, as opposed to the Russian tarragon here, which is much easier to grow. So the French tarragon has a much shorter growing season. It only really starts to take off in growth in May time. So if you don't see it doing much to begin with at the start of the year, don't worry, because the likelihood is it will come back, but much later on in the season. So at the moment it's really sprouting up. Nice new tall growth. You can nip it back just to get that bushier growth. It's just a fantastic herb to have. It's used in both in fin herb as well as part of that typical French mix. This Russian tarragon here, Artemisia dracunculus, it is a false tarragon. It's much easier to grow, as I said. It has its nice lovely tarragon foliage, gets very big and very big quite quickly. You can cut it back quite hard again, but it's got a much tamer flavour. You almost need to wait a few years until it matures a bit to get a more tarragon-like flavour. I've got Salvia officinalis, sage tricolor. You can use it exactly like sage, and some of these more ornamental looking sages can be used just as you would ordinary sage. The tricolor leaf I love because it's got these purple and pink tinge to the leaf, so it's nice and attractive in the garden. It is more tender than your typical sage, but we found it quite robust as well, so that's a really lovely one for your garden. With the lemon verbena, must have for your garden. Vietnamese coriander, our Russian tarragon at the end there, just some wonderful herbs to add to your collection. You can order from us online at kitchengardenplantcentre.co.uk. We grow in peat-free compost, which is a really nice open mix, which we find is very useful, especially for the more Mediterranean herbs, that nice free, open, free draining soil. If you notice our grey recyclable pots as well, so a lot of the councils now are starting to recycle these pots, so do recycle where possible. When we package our herbs for online sales, we package them in cardboard as well, individually wrapped, so that they keep them nice and fresh. You can order from us, as I said, online. Have a look at us on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram, and hope you enjoy Tatton Park.